very warm welcome in the class of Mathematics 1. We are in the discussion of several variables and its application in various fields. Today, our topic is directional derivative. Myself, Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, GIS College of Engineering. The prerequisite for this class is the idea on the function of several variables, because we need more than one direction to get directional derivative. Next, we have the requirement of the idea on partial differentiation. It is an integrated part of any discussion in the context of several variables. And finally, we need the idea of the concept of vector, because we are going to find out all these applications on the vector and vector point functions. All these things are discussed in different sections, different segments in your class. So depending on that particular idea, I am now proceeding further. Now, if we can recall that z is a function of x and y, that means function of several variables, then the definition of partial derivatives fx and fy are generally we are denoting it by del f del x and del f del y. But if we write it in this manner, fx fy, it will take lesser space. The definition is, at the point x0 y0, the partial derivative of f with respect to x will be the limiting value of this expression, which is f of x0 plus h comma y0 minus f of x0 y0. That means the change is considered only in the direction of x. There is no change in the direction of y. That particular expression, what we are getting, we call it as the partial differentiation of f with respect to x. And in vice versa, if you consider the change in y only and the x part remains same, then it is called partial differentiation with respect to y. And these represent the rates of change of z. Z means the function itself in the x and y direction. So if we have this particular thing and then the function is fxy, then the partial differentiation of fxy with respect to x actually represents the change of fxy in this direction, and similarly fy, that means partial differentiation of f with respect to y, gives you the change in y direction. Now, what are the unit vectors in x and y direction? We know that they are standardly represented as I and j. So this is nothing but we can consider the direction I, that means direction of x-axis, and the differentiation or derivative of f in the direction of x, that means in I. Clear? And this is in j. But the question comes that if we want to find out the rate of change of z at x0 y0 in the direction of arbitrary unit vector, this is the general question which we have on our mind in the discussion of today's topic, that instead of only specified x and y direction, if we have a particular direction and if we have one unit vector in that direction, if we want to find out the change of the given function in this direction, then what is the process? So Let us take this as our example that this is our x direction, this is our y direction, and this is our u. U means we have taken the vector in this direction, and u is the unit vector in this direction. So, and it can be written as cos u sin u because you can just simply take it as your calculation. The rigorous discussion on this geometry is something like that. So what is this? If I just say that this is the geometry, it will not be very much clear to you to understand. So that is why the discussion in stepwise is required. What we are doing, this is our surface S. So you have to consider this blue thing as our surface S. And the equation corresponding to this is z is equal to f of xy. That means it is our graph of f. Clear? Now we are considering one point z0 as f of x0 y0. So where will be f of x0 y0? In the xy plane, first x0 y0 will be there. So this is our xy plane. This is our x direction, y direction, and look at this. This is x0 y0 point. Then putting this value x0 y0 in z is equal to fxy, you will get another value which is z0. So this point x0 y0 comma 0, because here we are taking the point on xy plane. When we are considering the corresponding functional value x0 y0 substituted in f, we will get this point P whose coordinates are x0 y0 z0, and obviously it will be lying on S, that means this surface, because we have calculated this z0 by putting x0 y0 in z equal to f of xy, which is nothing but this one. So in the next step, what you see, we are considering one vertical plane. You can see that there is a vertical plane passes through P in the direction of U. So look at this. This is a point P. If we have a surface, and there is a point, so how many planes are there passing through these points? Infinite. But if you have a surface and if you have a direction fixed over there, and if you have a point, then your plane will be only on one unique plane you can achieve. So this vertical plane passes through P in the direction of U. Look at this. This is the direction, and this is our plane, and this is having one common requirement that it must pass through P. Clear? Okay. This particular plane, vertical plane, along with the surface S, there is one intersection, but it is going to be a curve because this is a surface and we are cutting one surface by a plane, like you are cutting your cake by your knife. You will get a curve in that intersecting positions. Clear? Now the slope of the tangent line, we are taking the same diagram, nothing to be worried about. The slope of the tangent line T, this is the tangent line, it is named as T, to C at the point P is the rate of change of Z in the direction of U, which is our requirement of today's class, that arbitrary direction vector is present on xy plane. What will be the directional derivative of this one? So the contribution here says that for verification point of view, if we take another point qxyz on this curve, then P dash and Q dash are the projections of P and Q onto the xy plane. Look at this, it is P and it is q, it is p dash q dash is nothing but this one, the projections, then the vector p dash q dash, these two will be parallel to u, because u is the unit vector in this direction. P dash q dash will be parallel, may not be same, maybe greater, maybe lesser, but ultimately it will be parallel. So if they are parallel, we can write it as p dash q dash is nothing but hu, where h is nothing but a scalar quantity. So ultimately what we get, that the directional derivative of f at x0 y0 is in the direction of the unit vector u, because if this changes the value will change, is f of x0 plus ha and y0 plus hb. Look at this here, both of them are changing and they are changing according to u, the vector u. If this limit exists, then we will call it as the directional derivative of f in the direction of the unit vector u. So now our turn is to discuss some problems on this. So we are starting from a very simple problem. We are taking the vector as r is equal to 5 plus 3t I cap 3 minus 2t j cap plus 4 plus t minus 16t square k cap. Our question is, it is our given thing. Question is, find d2r dt2, that means the double derivative of this vector with respect to t. Clear? So how to find it out? So r is given, we will do dr dt first. So dr dt is nothing but the d dt of this whole expression of t. So what we can write, that d dt of 5 plus 3ti will give you 0 plus 3i, because t will be differentiated with respect to t. Then d dt of 3 minus 2tj will give you minus 2j, and finally d dt of this whole thing will give you plus 1 minus 32t k. It is as simple as this. And finally the next step for the desired question is d2 or dt2, means you have to again differentiate this expression with respect to t, and you see that this one is independent on t, this one is independent on t, so they will be vanished. Only this 32tk will be differentiated with respect to t and will give us the result as minus 32k. Clear? In the second example, we are having that suppose a is given as t square I minus tj plus 2t plus 1 k, and another vector b is given as 2t minus 3i plus j minus tk. These are given. Our job is to show that d dt of a dot b is equal to minus 6 at t equal to 1, and another job is to show that d dt of a cross b, you know all these operations, dot product, cross product, it will be equal to 7j plus 3k at t equal to 1. So our job is to firstly find out what is a dot b for the first problem. Okay, so a is given, b is given, we know that I dot I is what, j dot j is what, k dot k is what, it is 1, and I dot j is 0, j dot k is again 0, and I dot k is also 0. So when you are applying this particular thing, what you are getting as a dot b t square I dot I is 1, so you can write t square 2t minus 3 minus t and 1, so it will be minus t, j dot j is 1, but I dot j is not having any result, minus t into 2t plus 1. So simplifying, what we get is as 2t cube minus 5t square, because here is 2t square and here is minus 3t square, and minus 2t. After that, basically your job is to differentiate the thing with respect to t, so the result will be coming as d dt of a dot b will be equal to 6t square minus 10t minus 2. Your job is done. Now at t equal to 1, the value will be, putting t equal to 1 there, we will get the value is 6 minus 10 minus 2, that is 6 minus 12, that is value is minus 6. Clear? So the first one is done. Now the second one. Similarly, we need to calculate a cross b first, and we know that a cross b is what? We can calculate it by using the determinant technique also, or you can calculate a cross b in flat. Then d dt of a cross b will be a cross db dt plus dA dt cross b. So as dA dt is known to you, that means dA dt is known to you. Similarly, dB dt is known to you, because you have already, you can calculate this from here, that what is dA dt, what is dB dt, and after that just use the single determinant technique, to find out the result, or rather to prove the result, because here it is asked to prove this. Clear? So these are the simple problems which are there in the chapter of this one, and I want to show you one more problem over here which is very much closely related to our desired topic. So the problem is, a particle moves along the curve x is equal to 1 minus t cube, y is equal to 3t square minus 4t, and z is equal to 2t cube plus 1. Okay. Now it is asked to find out the velocity and acceleration at t equal to 3 in the direction of I minus 2j plus 3k. Before solving this problem, please try to understand that what are the questions. If your question stops here, then your job is very easy. If your question stops here, then also it is very easy, because you have to put the value of t equal to 3 in that result. But it is asked that you have to find out the velocity and acceleration, not in whole manner. You need to find out the velocity of that particle in a specified direction where the direction is given to you. So it is a very practical problem which will have the concept and application of directional derivative. Otherwise, it is not possible for you to find out the desired result. So, what we get, that is, we are taking the position vector r, and as it is the position vector of any point on xyz on this given curve, we can write it as xi plus yj plus zk. Clear? So next we can write what? R is equal to x and y and z is given. So 1 minus t cube on I plus 3t square minus 4t on j plus 2t cube plus 1 on k, because just I have substituted these values in this position. Now, as we want to find out velocity first, velocity will be v is nothing but, we all know, dr dt. So if we differentiate this one, we will get, obviously if you differentiate this one with respect to t, we will get minus 3t square I plus 6t minus 4j plus 6t square k. And as per this requirement, at t equal to 3, this value, that means value at t equal to 3 will be equal to, if we put t equal to 3 over there, then 3 square, 9 into 3, 27. So it will be simply minus 27 I plus putting the value of T3 here, what we get? 27 minus 12, that is 14. We are putting 3 t equal to 3 here. I think it will be 15j, and plus if we put equal to 3 here, no, it will be 14 because we have to put it here. 6 into 3, 18 minus 4, that is 14. Yes, 14j plus 3, 9 and 54. So it will be 54k. Okay. So velocity is calculated. Velocity at t equal to 3 is calculated, but we have to go one step ahead. We have to find it out in the direction of this one. But before that, we are just calculating the acceleration. It will be a, we know that it will be dv dt. As v is already calculated, dv dt, the calculation of dv dt will be more easy. So 6 ti plus 6j plus 12tk. And if we want to find out acceleration at t equal to 3, what we will get? We have to substitute t equal to 3 over there, and we will get minus 18i plus 6j plus 36k. First part of the problem is done. Now along with this direction, we have to find out the unit vector, because if you can recall the first or second or third slide, where u is taken as the unit vector in the direction of that particular specified, which is not x or not y, but we need unit vector. So our calculation requires the unit vector in the desired direction, that means in the direction of I minus 2j plus 3k. So I minus 2j plus 3k, in this direction the unit vector will be, suppose denoted as n, is the vector divided by its modulus, or the distance of this one from origin, that is root over 1 square plus minus 2 whole square plus 3 whole square, is 1 by root over 14 I minus 2j plus 3k. So unit vector is also calculated. The velocity and acceleration at t equal to 3 is also known to us and calculated. Then the components we only need, that the component of the velocity, then the component of the velocity will be what? Obviously component of the velocity in the direction of n, so it will be simply v dot n. And similarly the component of the acceleration will be a dot n. Our job for the last part is to calculate these two dot products, v dot n and A dot n. So V dot n will be, we have already have the V over here. V means at t equal to 3 minus 27I plus 14j plus 54 k dot 1 by root over 14 on I minus 2j plus 3k. According to the dot product of iijj kk and ijjk ik, we can simplify this to 107 by root over 14, which is nothing but 107 into root over 14 by 14. So nothing is remaining, only A dot n is to be calculated, and we know A at t equal to 3 and n. So you will get, after simplification, the value will be 39 root over 14 by 7. Okay, so it is left for you to find it out, to reach out up to this one, and you please solve this one for your own boost up. So nothing to state more for today's class. We have one assignment for you which is related to directional derivative, and finally I want to say that I have taken the references from these resources. So I am thanking you all for your kind patience. Happy listening, happy learning.